Hi, everyone. Welcome to the end of the year recap for Day Violins. I'm Anna Larson, and I have here with me today Jenna Day. And if you ever been in the Day Violins shop, you know this face, you know this woman. Jenna, welcome. We are so excited to have you on today talking about what Day Violins does and why it matters.
Happy New Year, everybody. I'm so excited for 2026. This is going to be amazing. This is amazing. But 2025 was also so cool.
It really was. I mean, when we started to go through kind of the numbers and looking at this end of the year recap, what we discovered is really like the impact that your company has had on your community and the music students that you serve and the schools that you work with. And we just wanted to share that out a little bit with everybody in Facebook and IG land, right? Because I think it's super important for them to understand like when they support a small family-owned business like yours, really where the impact happens, and it's not just in rentals and sales, right?
Yeah, and it's not just our community. We've also been able to help the world too. So I'd love to talk about that also.
Yes. In fact, we're going to start off with that.
Oh,
So, we
good.
want to talk a little bit about the global giving that Day Violence has had because I don't think a lot of people know that you do stuff like this. Let's talk about Jamaica and El Salvador. Can you give us a rundown first about Jamaica and kind of what the plan was, what you did, and the outcome of that?
Sure, absolutely. So Jamaica actually started with a conversation with my dear friend Glenn McCarthy. And he goes to Jamaica every year and he'd had some conversations with some people down there and he kind of mentioned it to me and mentioned it to me again and it just kind of started to snowball. The timing was right and it started to snowball. And we worked with the Mason Community Arts Academy and Glenn McCarthy and then we also worked with the Teachers College down in Jamaica and we were able to figure out what they needed and then also through Instruments in the Attic, that program that we've supported and worked with for years, we were able to get all of these instruments ready to go. And then as we were starting to do this, we realized that not only did they need instruments, but they needed other things. So we were able to donate the folders so that they could hold the music. We donated method books, we donated some music stands, cleaning cloths, rosin, like anything that they might have needed, we started packing it. And my husband is amazing because he would be like, "Okay, we have this much space. Let's put something in here." And so the Sam Sharp Teachers College in Jamaica was able to get help with the shipping down there. And then we all met at Day Violins, all the Mason Community Arts Community, all the community arts, all the Mason Community Arts community. Okay, hold on. You're gonna have to cut that.
I can't cut it. This is a Zoom recording. It's not how that works. But all the people from Mason Community Arts came to help support packing those boxes. Is that what we're talking
Yes,
about?
sorry. All the Mason community arts people came and there was the leadership like Mary and then also and then there was like some of our staff there also and we're able to pack all of these boxes. Actually, if you go to the link, we can also share the link on Facebook again and Instagram again. There's actually an entire documentary that we were able to do with our dear friend Scott Nermy. So you can actually see kind of the impact of what happened, and you can see us loading and unloading and all the other fun things that we did. And that was, I think that was one of the most fun things that we started the year out with. That actually was almost a year ago. Can you believe it?
Almost a
That's
year ago.
crazy. Yeah.
And one of the things you failed to mention was the number of instruments that you actually sent to Jamaica. How many instruments went to Jamaica?
Um, oh my gosh, I don't even remember exactly. I know that we were able to send violins and cellos. I think there was 35 boxes. I think 36 boxes, 35 or 36 boxes were the actual total number of instruments. I know we sent over 100 folders and probably at least 50 method books. But at one point, it was just what can we fit in these boxes? And I
Yeah.
think that was the key is that it didn't matter the number. It mattered how much can we make sure that those boxes are full. And when they get down there and they open them up, they have everything they need and then some, like things that they didn't even think they might need, like the folders and the method books. So that was really fun. Yeah.
It's like a full, like 360 view of what a student would need in order to be able to learn and practice and actually succeed in their musical journey, right? And I know that's super important today, violins. So let's talk about El Salvador. Now, you took a special trip to El Salvador. Tell us a little bit about that experience.
El Salvador, oh my gosh, that was just in August. And that also came from a random conversation. So here's a cool story. So there was a lady who came in and she asked us to fix up a violin because they were going to go to El Salvador. This is like 4 years ago. And we fixed up the violin, and my husband said, I think we only have like this random blue case that somebody had donated to us. So he puts the instrument in this blue case and it goes to El Salvador. We never thought about it again because we figured we hadn't heard from anybody. And so we just didn't think about it. So we get approached again about taking a couple more instruments down. There was a coalition going down in August, and they talked about possibly taking some more instruments down. And I said, "Hey, listen, last time we literally just handed them an instrument and away it went. And I would love to meet with the people that are going to go down, kind of pick their brains, kind of see what's going on, kind of like just kind of figure some stuff out. So I know, like, once again, you don't want to just send an instrument down with like no context. You want to send an instrument down with everything to make that person successful, whoever's going to play it, whether it be a student or an adult. The first one went down and the girl was 18 years old, and she was more of an adult person, and so she was older and she was able to use that instrument. So anyway, long story short, I have a conversation. I have lunch with Ash and Colleen, who are the most delightful people in the entire universe. And first of all, we hit it off. We cried and we laughed, and we're at this little Greek restaurant in Old Town Alexandria, and we are best friends by the end of the lunch. And so as we start talking, it literally started to like grow into something that we were like, wow, this would actually be a really cool thing to happen. So fast forward to when Ash comes to the shop and we're standing there, and he has the boxes that he knows the size for the airport, and Jason's trying to put the boxes in, and we're standing there surrounded by boxes and some violins, and he looks at me and he says, Jenna, you have to go. Like, you speak Spanish. You have to go. And I kind of stood there with this like, I have to go. And Jason looks at me and goes, you have to go. And then all of a sudden it's like, there's a non-negotiable. You have to go. It I was supposed to go. There is absolutely no question in my mind that I was not supposed to go. I was supposed to go because I met Doña Silvia, who is an angel. When I had a conversation with her over Zoom before we went on the trip, I said to her, I said, "Hey, Doña Silvia, we want to bring some strings down for you for your instrument. So you can teach, like, what is the instrument that you teach these children on?" And she said, "Oh, I don't have a violin to teach. I just teach violin without a violin. I'm a violin teacher without a violin." And at
Wow.
that moment, I realized this was bigger than me. This was more important than just taking some strings down to a violin teacher. This was going to be life-changing. And as I watched my husband, excuse me, if you know me also, you know that I cry about everything. Um, But as I watched my husband hand pick an instrument for her, he went through probably 4 or 5 instruments and he played them. And I watched him sit there and play them, and just he listened, and he met her over Zoom. Like, he didn't know her personally, but he'd met her and we talked about things. And as I watched him hand pick that instrument, I just realized the impact that we have, the heart, the especially my husband. I get 100 crazy ideas a day and maybe one will work. But when I ask him about that one idea or that one thing I would like, he goes all out, and he handpicked this instrument for Doña Silvia. And when I took it down to her, she just literally burst into tears and cried. And she just talks about him as if, he gave her a million bazillion things that he gave her a violin, but he gave her an opportunity to teach those students. He gave her a future. He gave her the ability to make other students successful.
Mm.
And when you own a violin shop, giving a violin away may not seem like a lot, but to somebody who is teaching students violin without a violin, the impact and the ripple effect knows no bounds.
Yeah. And that's kind of one of the core themes with Day Violin, right? You have a tagline that you like to use when you talk about your organization. Can you share what that is?
Oh, sure. Talent is universal, opportunity is not.
And
And
yeah, that's really what you're talking about here, right? Like the talent, there are people around the world that can play, but the opportunity to play on a good instrument and be able to impact the world the way they can with their musical skills isn't always there. I
yeah,
love these two stories about Jamaica and El Salvador, but let's bring it a little bit closer to home. Let's talk about Jason, the elusive Jason, for just a moment, right? We love
who has
this man.
promised me? Who has promised me that he will be on social media more? So if you go back and look at our reel on New Year's Eve, or New Year's Day, he has promised me he will show up on social media. So that's why it's like loading. I'm
So
excited.
this is what we've got to look forward to. More Jason Day on social media in 2026. But let's talk about what Jason's done, and not by extension, you and Day Violins, but really as, the main owner and the one who's in the shop all day, every day, right? We're so proud of him and what he does locally for the community. And we were just talking about the donations that Dave Island has made to both Jamaica and El Salvador, but let's talk about locally. Like, I know that Jason's donated over 60 instruments locally in your community to children that have need. Can you tell
I,
us a little bit more about that?
I'm sure it's more than 60 because there's some that I don't even know about.
He
Um,
doesn't tell everything, huh?
well, I don't think because most of the time it doesn't matter. Successful moments don't have a price tag,
Yeah.
and um, impactful moments don't have a price tag. They don't need a price tag. And so sometimes when he's standing there and there's a need the situation arises, we've promised ourselves, once again, talent is universal, opportunity is not. And so at that moment, if he feels strongly like he needs to do something, he will absolutely do whatever it is to make sure that that child or that student or that musician is successful in whatever he's doing at that very moment. Because trust is earned and not pushed also. And so like as you're talking to people and they're learning to trust you and like reveal some more things, sometimes you get a moment where you're like, "Oh my gosh, this is exactly what I need to do." Now, many times he'll either text me or he'll pull me in and he'll say, "Hey, listen, here's the situation." I'm like, "Absolutely do it." Like there's never a moment where we've doubted each other when we're trying to help another person, to give them that opportunity to go on their musical journey, continue on their musical journey, or excel in their musical journey.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about what you do with students, just even beyond the instrument. Like, tell me about the musical career sessions that you do, the podcast that you went on, like some of those kinds of things that you've done this year where you're talking about the fact that playing an instrument doesn't always have to be the end goal in terms of like a job or a career or something to keep music in your life forever.
So this is one of the most amazing initiatives that NAM has done, and it's called Careers in Music. And so Eric, he said basically, I don't even remember where it was, but he basically gave us an assignment and he said, "Hey, I'd really like you guys to like start promoting careers in music so that you don't have to just be an educator or just be a musician if those don't fit your talents or your needs." Now, we always need musicians and we always need educators, but this was giving children the opportunity to look beyond their scope of, well, maybe I want to go into the medical field, or maybe I want to go into the military, or maybe I want to do some of those other kind of career choices, but I love music still. And so he gave me the assignment to give to careers in music. And NAM actually has a little template thing. And so I took the template and I took some of my own stuff and we created this whole entire PowerPoint. And I remember him sending me an email and saying, "So we're just kind of trying to figure out how many presentations people have done over the last year with careers in music." And so I sent him, I think it was 4 pages of documentation of all the careers in music stuff that I'd done. Because once again, if you have that opportunity to keep music in your life, when you're playing a musical instrument, studies show that your entire brain lights up. Your entire brain lights up. With other subjects, it's parts of your brain that are going on. But when you play in a musical instrument, your entire brain lights up. And that's why it's so impactful to have music in your life. So anyway, he was blown away. He actually called me and he's like, "Wait a second. Like this is insane. How many like?" And I said, "Well, you gave me the assignment. I'm the kid that sits in the front row and's like, "Yes, sir, I'll do it." But not only that, it wasn't just the assignment, it was the fact that it was so successful that kids were like engaged and excited and didn't realize that you could go into the medical field and still keep music in your life, like being an audiologist and then doing my friend Melissa, doing the inner ear stuff, or the career bands that they have in the military, or even like being an attorney, like a patent attorney, where you can do music. And then like we have so many friends in this area alone that just that are able to compose music and be composers. So anyway, I could go on and on about careers in music, obviously.
Well, I
It
think
won't
it's
get
so
over
important
trees
because
here.
it's opening and expanding the world of music to something beyond playing an instrument or being an educator. And that's the go-to I think so many people have, and they don't stop and think about patenting music or designing cover art for bands and albums, or I mean all these things that you've just mentioned that are still opportunities where you are engrossed in the music world and you maintain that musical journey with a kind of a out of the box career choice in that sense.
So
So that's amazing.
one of my favorite stories is I was talking about being an album cover designer. And I was telling the kids that there's all these different jobs that you can do as an album cover designer. And I said, like, let's take it, for example, like a Taylor Swift album. I said, somebody has to do her makeup. And this little girl in the back is like, shut up. Are you kidding? Like, it just blew her mind to think that, like, even a makeup artist is critical to the music industry. Like the music
Mhm.
industry is huge. And we just think most of the time we think about the musician on the stage, but we don't think about the musicians that are playing with the musician on the stage. And then also the lighting and the sound and the ticket sales and the like, there's so many, like the venue people, like there's just so many other jobs that are involved in this musical industry um, footprint and tapestry to make it huge. It's amazing. So anyway, like I said, I won't get into it because I could do my presentation all day.
We already did. We already did get into it. That's the whole thing. All right, so let's talk about community engagement and outreach right there locally in Northern Virginia and kind of that, northern DC area, the metro area that you live and you work in, and where your shop is located. One of my favorite things that you guys do are these community engagement and outreaches. I'm going to go down the list. I'm just going to start throwing out some numbers of the kinds of things you guys have done in the numbers. All right, and then I just want you to tell me, like maybe like I want you to share the impact you think this is having in the community after I do this rundown. Okay. So, Day Violins is petting zoos. And if you don't know what a petting zoo is, it's essentially musical instruments where kids get to come and touch and play, right? It's not a eyes only, it's a put your hands on this and try this out. 32 petting zoos over the past year. Instrument nights, very similar to this. This is with the schools, right? Where kids come in and say, do I want to join band or orchestra? Is this a direction I want to go? I don't know. So they have an opportunity again to put hands on, to hear the instruments be played, to hear what it sounds like. 32 different instrument nights over the past year. Teacher visits. Okay. So we've talked a little bit about educators, but musical journeys do not happen without the musical educators. And I know Day of Violins has this massive little heart spot for all of the educators out there. Yes, exactly.
Well, my
Exactly.
husband is a former music educator also. And
Yeah.
so the cool thing about that, I'm just going to jump in for this part, but
Jump
he,
in.
as a music educator, I watched firsthand what music educators do. He was in the trenches, and so that's why we're able to be the top school music dealer in this area, is because he's a former orchestra teacher. He knows what it's like to load your car up with instruments where you can't even see out the back. He knows what it's like to sit and tune and 100 kids 5 minutes before the concert starts. Like he knows, like we know that kind of stuff because we lived it. And I think that's why it's so impactful. Those teacher visits are so impactful. The teacher support is so impactful. And it's so important to us because we know we've lived it. We were in the trenches with them.
Yeah, and this isn't even so teacher visits over the past year, almost 50 teacher visits done by Day Violins. And this doesn't even take into consideration the extras, the free folders that you guys give out so their music students have what they need. I love your toolboxes, right? Jenna puts together toolboxes that are essentially like mini repair kits. They're like fishing tackle boxes, mini repair kits. So every orchestra teacher in the area has a mini repair kit to do basic repairs on their student instruments
Well, they
at
have
the time
access
when
to
they
them.
need.
Yeah, they have
Have
access to it.
access
And
to it.
most of those will go to like the summer camps and like special events because usually at a summer camp or a special event they need something like right away. They need like one place because sometimes they're not in their own classroom and sometimes they're at the concert hall or they're in at the cafeteria or something like that. And so that's why these toolboxes, they're literally like stand up, pick up, go, and they have everything that they need. And we even have things like Band-Aids. One year they were like Band-Aids were the most popular thing, believe it or not. But like Q-tips, they're like, you would not believe how many Q-tips we used this year to clean things out. And like it, so we've packed it with all once again, because I watched my husband over the years and saw what he needed, I know exactly what to put into those toolboxes, plus a little bit extra love and always
Of
extra
course.
strings and other things. A
That's the Day Violins way, right? Just a little
little bit
extra for
extra love.
everybody. Yeah. Orchestra collaborations, 9 different collaborations with different orchestras around the area, which is really like keeping that entire musical ecosystem strong. 15 concerts, okay, bringing live music to people so they can just again remember and appreciate what music is and the talent in your local community. Tell me about tuning stations. What are tuning stations? You did 15 over the past year. Tell me a little bit about what that looks like.
So this year we've put it out. Well, we've done it for years. But this year we kind of put it out to the teachers. Listen, if you need help right before a concert, one of us will show up and we will help you tune right before the concert. That is literally like one of the most critical times for a teacher when there's 150 third, fourth, and fifth, or fourth, fifth, and sixth graders, at least in Fairfax County. So
Yeah.
there's 150 kids running around. The parents are coming in late, like whatever the chaos is unstinking believable. And so, having been there myself with all my kids, at least my kids' instruments were tuned before they got there because we knew how to do it. But you get there and the kids, and so somebody accidentally drops something, or they're like, wait, I forgot my whatever it is, or I forgot my instrument, like little things like that. And so the teacher, those last like 20 minutes before the concert, and I'm sure some teachers will be like, no, but anyway, about the last 20 minutes, there's mass kind of chaos of making sure that everybody's ready. And I don't know of any other profession where you can get 150, fourth, fifth, and sixth graders ready to then sit down and actually play a song that you know
Yeah.
what the song is. You know what I mean? So like their job, that those last couple minutes are so critical to help them out. And sometimes those smallest things of like, hey, we'll show up and we're going to tune for you. We're going to just stand there and we're going to tune the instrument and then we're going to hand it to the kid. We tune the
Yeah.
instrument, hand it to the kid. And that little small thing sometimes is so impactful. I remember doing it out with one of my kids one year and the teacher, she just looked at me. She's like, I don't think I've ever like this. We're ready to go. And so it was just that small, tiny thing of us being able to tune those instruments and then the teachers being like, wait, I'm not stressed out. I can stand up and we can create a beautiful sound with me being able to then engage with my students instead of like, oh my gosh, somebody like I missed 5 kids or whatever the case may be. And even then that teacher can take care of those last minute kids. Like they're
Yeah.
late for whatever reason, like life happens. And so it just really helps to like, you know, it's like a little hug. We're like, hi, here we are. Hug everybody. Now you can go play. And then the other fun thing is a lot of times you can't leave. Like we're there to tune, but you're like, I gotta listen to them. They're so cute. And they're like, I'm sorry, but they're just so cute. And then like as they're playing and you're like, oh, they sound so good. You realize you did that in like 3 months? Once a week, 3 months, and you made this sound come out. That's amazing. So
Yeah.
anyway,
It's fantastic.
that's one of the things we do.
Yeah. And then one of the last ones I wanted to mention, of course, is your reading programs where you're connecting literacy and music together. And that, of course, is something that we all care so deeply about, right? Is this ability to learn. And I know that there's like all of these statistics about how music helps your brain just work better, function better, lowers stress hormones, it helps a child with problem solving. Like music really, truly, even psychologically supports development of both kids and adults, really, for that matter. It's not just limited to children. So, okay, so with all of those things that I just threw out, and I know you jumped in and told a few stories, but tell me what overall, what do you think the impact is? Like, why does Dave Violins do all of these extras? It's not like you're getting paid to show up and tune 150 kids' instruments or to help a teacher out in that way. So, why do you do this? And the tears begin, and it's why we love you.
When Jason and I when Jason and I first started out, we were blessed with some really good mentors. And one man in particular, Paul Bartel, took him under his wing and just really showed him what an impact music can have. And he has since passed away, but his legacy has lived on with us. And when we very first got married, we were also helped, and we promised ourselves that we would always pay it forward. Paying it forward is a big deal for us. We a lot of times when we will give out an instrument to a student and they're like, "What can I do? What can I pay? How can I pay you back?" And we will tell them, "Pay it forward." There's always going to be somebody who needs you. There's always going to be somebody worse off than you. You will always find a way to help and serve people. And that's why we do it, because we don't even put the word out there very much, but we know that they need to be tuned. We know that those instrument nights are critical so children can explore, so that the parents are like, "Wait, I didn't even know that the cello sounded like that," or whatever the case may be. One of the cool things that we started this year also is I got to give a shout out to these high school kids in our area. They're amazing. We have so many kids that are involved in these service project type of ideas, or these nonprofit organizations, and they're volunteering their time. And we started sensory friendly instrument petting zoos, and
Hmm.
we've had three of them, and they have touched our lives in ways that I never thought possible. If you know us, you know that we're very involved in people who have special needs and those with disabilities, and we've been involved for many, many years. I started in high school or middle school as a nanny for a little girl with Down syndrome, and I just like anyway, I just it's been a part of my life. It's been a part of my family's life, my children's life, everybody's life, and to be able to start these sensory friendly instrument petting zoos has been amazing. It grew from like just this tiny little first one until we are overflowing and we're having to look for different spaces to do it now, because there's so many families that just want the opportunity to have their child just try it, just see what it's like to be like. A lot of times these children don't get the opportunity to mainstream into regular activities that other kids get to do. And so the sensory friendly instrument petting zoos have been mind blowing with the success that we've had with those. Um, the instrument nights with the teachers, once again, this is a wonderful opportunity to help the teacher out, help those music educators. In order to bring quality music education into a classroom, you have to be able to have students that want to learn and students that want to be there. And many times, if like the parents are like, "You're just going to do it no matter what," um, it doesn't mean that the child wants to be engaged. And so engaging them from the very get-go and them saying, "I don't like high sounds." And so then we say, "Well, then maybe a violin's not best for you. Maybe the cello or the bass is better because it's the lower sound and you can hear it." And sometimes, like with their sensory issues, a cello you're touching in a lot more places than a violin, where it's just on your shoulder. But a cello you know. And so it's really good for them to try that out and see. There's a lot of times when they're like, I don't want it on my shoulder. And yet when it's right here in front of them, it makes a huge difference. And so little things like that just make such a big difference for them to be like, "Wait, I love the cello." And then they can decide. So it's a lot easier to help them decide. And it also engages the parents. The parents can ask us questions. Many times parents are like, "I never had the opportunity to do this. I don't even know what this instrument is. Like I played the guitar, or other thing, or I never had music." And so it's really good for us to be able to engage with the parents and the students. And once again, help the teacher out. All the way, help the teacher out. Help those
Yeah.
music educators.
Absolutely. All right. So we're going to start to close down the conversation a little bit, but I didn't want to forget. advocacy work. Now, Jenna, this is kind of the heart and soul of what you do at Day Violins. This is really kind of your thing that you really push. And I know you're very strongly, you've been on Capitol Hill over the past year, and you don't just advocate for music for the teachers or students or for, the music program in Jamaica or El Salvador. You are on Capitol Hill talking about funding and opportunity for everyone across the nation. So tell us a little bit about the work that you do and why you advocate so loudly and in this way.
So it started in 2015. NAM put it out there, like they'd been doing it for years, but I found out about it in 2015. That was the year that we went up to Capitol Hill for the first time and we asked that it was the ESSA. Couldn't remember the acronym. I was fresh, brand new, didn't even know what I was doing. And I remember trying to remember the acronym, but in the end, all I did was tell my story about how music was important to me because I grew up in a very musical family. And I realized that like advocacy is nothing more than telling your story. And and being able to have access to that music for every single student is amazing, and not just access to music but access to quality music education. We have to support the teachers, we have to support the funding, we have to support the schools, we have to have good quality instruments in the classroom so that the students can play on an instrument that responds to their talent. So all of these different kind of things adds up to this access to quality music education and access to the opportunity. Once again, talent is universal, but opportunity is not. And that is one of the reasons why I do advocate. The highlight of my year was being able to go up to Capitol Hill again this year and speaking in the Mansfield room. Like, what an opportunity to be able to talk about my story 10 years after I went there for the first time. Didn't even know what I was doing 10 years ago. And then to be able to stand in the Mansfield room in 2025 and realize that I've been doing this for 10 years and my life had completely changed. And I know that all the efforts that NAM does and these other organizations that go up on Capitol Hill and advocate for this quality music education, it's giving the kids the opportunity, the access to be able to change their lives in ways that they probably never thought of before and be able to express themselves. This is a big reason why I do it. Music allows you to express yourself. You don't have to speak a certain language to be able to play a musical instrument. It is a language. And it really does help children express themselves and grow and learn. And once again, your whole brain lights up. Access, it gives you it's the whole brain effect. It's the whole brain effect.
It's the whole brain effect.
And we
I
don't,
love that.
yeah, and I refuse to do it quietly. If you know me, I am not a quiet person. I'll shout it from the rooftops. And so I don't support music quietly. I do it loudly. I go up to Capitol Hill. I go to the school board members. I meet with them on a regular basis. I've been to Richmond many times, and I go all over the country giving presentations about it because I truly believe that giving children a quality music education is life-changing for every single one of them.
Yeah. And it shows in what you do, and it shows in your Day Violins business, and it shows in the way you give back to your community. And so I think that really what we've talked about here today is truly a beautiful thing to understand that Day Violins is not just a violin rental and sales shop. There's so much more that is behind this music shop in, located in Chantilly, Virginia. And so we want to invite everyone. And Jen, I'm going to give you a chance to put together a kind of a last thought for everyone. So I'm prepping you in advance so you can kind of think about it while I'm saying this. But we want to invite everyone in the community. Like, if you are interested in exploring an instrument, or if you want to participate in a give back opportunity, or if you want to have Day Violins come and do something with your school or with your organization or with your group. I'm thinking homeschool, scouting, all these kinds of like youth and children organizations where maybe they don't have the opportunity right now. And so Day Violins is one of those organizations that's going to give those children the opportunity to start that musical journey that is so important to them. So, Jenna, what would be your final thoughts for everyone that has stuck with us through the last, 20-ish minutes and talked about all the things that's been going on at Day Violins over the last year?
So I think the big thing is that we can't do this alone. Um, we have, once again, going back to the pay it forward, the talent is universal, opportunity is not. To every single person that has helped us, who we've met, it's always good to like start the new year off because you're like, wait, what are the possibilities? And as I was reflecting on it, I realized that there's so many people that we haven't met yet. There's people that we get to reconnect with this year, and there's people that we see all the time and we get to like hang out with them still. And I think because of that, um, we're going to be able to be amazing like we always are, but we're also going to be able to do amazing things because we have that community support, because we have that support of other people, because we know who to contact when we need something, and they also know who to contact when they need something. And so the symbiotic relationship that we have is just going to grow. And once again, that ripple effect is just going to keep going and going and going and going. Last year, I didn't know I was going to go to El Salvador. I've been to El Salvador. We've started a leadership program in El Salvador. I mean, that like just the ripple effect of what will happen in 2026 is going to be amazing. So if you want to be a part of something epic and amazing, get a hold of me because I literally am so excited for 2026. 2026 is going to be so intentional and so forward thinking and life changing for so many people that if you want to be part of the ride, get on now because it's we're a cruise ship. We're not a speedboat. We're not going to speed off and go away. We're going to be on that cruise ship. We're going to have an awesome, fun time. We're going to be partying. We're going to have a good time. We're still going to get things done, and we're going to stop at every single port, every single opportunity, and we're going to get off and we're going to make it a party. We're going to throw the glitter. We're going to do the confetti. We're going to do all those fun things because music is fun. And so come be a part of this community. Come be a part of this epic, amazing opportunity that we have in 2026 to create music everywhere, quality music education, but also quality music opportunities.
Yeah.
Our internship program. Oh my gosh, I could keep going. I'm going to stop, but just come be a part of something totally amazing in 2026.
Now, as one of the people that supports you guys with all of your marketing efforts, we would be remiss to also say, and quality instruments that you can both
Yes,
rent and
yes,
buy, and
yes.
fine and vintage instruments, which we're going to be talking more about in
A
2026 as
lot,
well.
a lot.
Very
That's where
like
Jason comes in.
yeah, this is where Jason comes in because this is his deep love as well. So to everyone out there that has watched, thank you for trusting Day Violins, for supporting Day Violins, for believing in Day Violins. You truly are supporting impact that goes far beyond a sale or a rental. It
Yes.
is an impact that is affecting not just the community, but the entire world. And so thank you so much. And we cannot wait to have you continue to be part of that musical journey in 2026.
Love you guys. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.